All right, there we go. All right, guys, welcome back to No Filter MMA. I told you guys in 2019 I was bringing you guys nothing but heat. We are live right now with none other than UFC heavyweight Alan Pretty Boy Crowder coming off a huge win over Greg Hardy. How you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, man, like I said, we're just going to get straight to the meat, man. I'm not going to keep you for long. I'm going to let you know what I'm saying, a lot of questions for you from some people, man. Let's get to it. So, first of all, Alan, my fellow North Carolinian, for one, thank you for doing the interview. And for two, tell us, man, what got you started in MMA?
Really, I played football growing up, and I got to college. I was going to ECU. I kind of just fell out of love with it. I quit playing. About 2 semesters went by, and I was like, man, I'm bored. I said, I need something to do. One of my buddies, we was watching a UFC fight, and he's like, man, you got to try this out. And I was working at a bar and bouncing, and a guy came in, and he actually owned a place called Fearless Fighting in Greenville, North Carolina. And he asked me to come check out the gym. I went by, checked it out. I was hitting the bag. He's like, hey, look, man, I got a fight coming up in a month. If you want to train here, I'll train for free. Just fight under my name, and we'll build it up. And one thing led to another. I won that fight in like 14 seconds, and then I just kind of loved it and kind of kept going from there.
Heard. And I'd hate to be the drunk guy and the crazy at the bar you bouncing at, man.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So my bodybuilding days when I was all muscle and they couldn't fight for shit. You know what I mean? I was just big and strong.
I hear you. So you went to Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. What was it like to get that kind of a call?
Man, it was awesome. I had just finished. I got my first Bellator call. I fought on a Charlotte show in Bellator, and then right after that, they called me. I was like, hey, they're starting up this new thing, Contender Series. My manager was like, hey, you need to get on this right here, and I was like, yeah, let's set it up. They flew me out to Vegas, done some medical stuff. Everything was good to go. We set the fight up, and it was awesome. It was a hell of a feeling for sure.
Yeah, that was a good fight, man. That was a 3-round war, man.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, Dante May is a beast for sure, man. I'm always fighting, good opponents and stuff, and that was a good one for sure.
So I want to just talk a little bit about your style real quick. So you seem to be one of those those grungy fighters. Like you put the grueling pace. You make your opponents carry your weight. You push them up against the cage. You pepper them up with shots, man. Just kind of describe your style to us.
One of my favorite fighters is Randy Couture. You know what I mean? Because I'm not the biggest heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like I packed on some weight last fight, but I was if I was to eat somewhat clean and work out the way I do, I'm walking around 245 between 245 and 250. And if I eat like shit, then I get fat, obviously. But I was trying to make it down to 205 at one point, and it just didn't work out. But I was like, man, I can fight good at heavyweight. I feel good. My strength is good, and I know most people, once I get them on the ground, they're not getting back up. So I like to be, in their face, pushing the pace, make them tired, and just work the shit out of them.
Yeah. So yeah, that was actually my next question. Fighting in the UFC, fighting heavyweight, you're gonna be on the smaller end of the heavyweights.
Sure.
So what is it that you do to make up for that size difference?
You know what I mean? Really, I got to push the pace. I got to be faster. You know what I mean? I got to have a solid chin for sure. It's just kind of you have to be confident when you're going in. You know what I mean? A lot of the heavyweight division, they're bangers. They just want to stand and bang. You know what I mean? Once you get out of the first round, most guys, they don't have a lot of gas, except for like DC and Cain Velasquez and, Stipe Miocic, except the top guys. Most of them, they're gassing out. You know what I mean? 3 minutes in, they're done. And really, I just got to get past that point, and then I can pretty much do what I want from there,
So, Alan, what gym do you train out of?
So I actually just opened up a place called New Millennium Martial Arts Conditioning. It's here in Mebane, North Carolina. I do a lot of my training here. I call guys in. I got like Jacob Casper and Michael Machiavelli. Jacob Casper's from Duke. He actually goes and helps out Daniel Cormier when he's getting ready for his fights. And then Michael Machiavelli just won the NCAA championship. He's 205. He just won last year. So I got them coming in here working with me. I go down to Inner City Boxing in Durham, work out some great boxers over there. There's a bunch of professional boxers over there. I work with them. Also, my MMA coach, Spencer Knupp, he has a place in Burlington. It's actually in Gibsonville. It's called Burlington Krav Maga. I go up there and I get work in with him and the guys he has over there and stuff. So you got to travel around. You got to move around. You know what I mean? You can't stay in one place. You got to get that. In North Carolina, there's not a spree of heavyweight guys to go out and work with. I was going down to Florida and training in the Hard Knocks 365. Shout out to them guys. I love them guys down there. But, I just had my little girl who recently started up my own business that I got to keep, up and running. And, so I didn't have time to get down there or the money to spend to go down there for the training and stuff. So.
Yeah. It's busy life. So a day in the life of Alan Crowder during fight week. What do you how does fight week go for Aaron? I said Aaron, Lord of mercy. Alan, the good thing this isn't live, man, because I can go back and edit. So a day in the week of training for Alan Crowder, what do you do fight week?
So fight week's really, really chill, man. You know what I mean? I try to just keep my mind off the fight. You can't be sitting there and being stressed out over, what might happen and what might not happen. You know what I mean? So I try to stay real chill. Me and my coaches will go to like different restaurants, hang out, laugh. You know what I mean? We'll get a couple, maybe 1.5 hours in, every day, just getting a good workout and getting that sweat in. And then, just traveling around, sightseeing. Normally we're some, up in New York, went and seen a couple different restaurants, checked out some of the sites and stuff. So, it's pretty cool. Just try to keep your mind off stuff, Went and watched that new Creed 2 movie while I was in New York. That was awesome. So, just try to keep your mind off of it,
It's a good movie.
It is, for sure.
So, all right. So, Alan, now let's get to the meat. Let's get to this Greg Hardy meat real quick. All right. So, when you got the call to fight Greg Hardy, what was your thought process?
I thought it would be a good fight. You know what I mean? He's a big athletic dude, former NFL football player. I was like, he don't have the skill that I have. I was like, but he's got big and he's powerful. And I was like, I knew it would be a good fight for me. I figured I had in my mind, I was like, if I get him on the ground, I said, I got this fight right here. I was like, I'm going to wear him out. He's never been pushed past the first round. I knew that he'd be tired at the first round. And I just thought, like, hey, it's going to be a great fight. And then whenever they called and said be in New York, one of my coaches, that's his hometown. He's from Brooklyn. And he was like, man, we got to do this fight. And I was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I'm just going to be honest with you, man. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. You really were kind of supposed to be like the sacrificial lamb for Greg Hardy.
100% sacrificial lamb. No. See, when I got knocked out by Justin Willis, you know what I mean? I was cutting down. I was trying to get down to 205. I wanted to beat Justin Willis, and I wanted to go down to 205 the next fight. And doing so, I lost a lot of strength. You know what I mean? My confidence wasn't there. You know what I mean? I just didn't feel good at that weight. You know what I mean? I ended up getting caught by Justin Willis, got knocked out, a couple minutes into the first round. You know what I mean? It looked terrible. So, you know what I mean? They wanted to hype up Greg Hardy, former NFL football player. They wanted to boost him up and whatnot. And I knew going in, you know what I mean, I'm the guy they want him to win. You know what I mean? They put all that money into him. Even on fight week, you know what I mean? We was going around and everywhere we went, the camera was on him. You know what I mean? My name wasn't mentioned at all. It was like Greg Hardy's fighting some guy. He's going to knock him out.
Yeah.
Will this guy make it after 10 seconds? You know what I mean? I had to hear all that stuff. And then I just sat back and laughed. I was like, man, I'm not worried about that. And I knew going in, they want him to win. And I was like, I'm not going to be the one. This is not going to be an easy fight. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to prove that.
Yeah. Yeah, and and as me and the guy, I do podcasting, so I know who a lot of MMA fighters are. You know what I'm saying? So coming into this fight, I knew exactly who you were.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know who you were coming into this fight. Now, after this fight, they know who you are. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
sure.
So, as I'm sitting here watching the fight, they're like, "Oh, Greg Hardy's going to run through this guy." I'm like, "Well, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
I've seen Pretty Boy fight before. You know what I'm saying? This guy can. So let's get to the questions that fans, some of my subscribers have for you. They're pretty good questions. All right, so my good friend Justin from One Up MMA articles, that they write MMA articles based, fights and whatnot. Anyway, the question is your co-main experience tainted by the controversial win?
You know what I mean? It definitely sucks. You know what I mean? It doesn't even really feel like a win. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people said the first round, I won 10-9 or whatnot on the scorecards, and
Absolutely.
But when in the second round, I was talking shit and stuff. But I mean, everybody's like, when they talk about it, they talk about his disqualification. They don't talk about how I done good in the first round. They don't talk about how I was getting him in the second round. They talk about how he made a mistake and he kneed me in the head when I was down on the ground. You know what I mean? So I think it taints it a little bit. I mean, I got a lot of exposure off this. You know what I mean? I got a lot of people following me now. More people know who I am, and that's definitely a good thing. You know what I mean? All the way around. God has his plan, and I'm sticking to what God wants for me. And I feel like everything happens for a reason. I don't know what that reason is yet, but I mean, I'm gonna keep working hard, and I ain't gonna let it get me down for sure.
Absolutely. So Justin, same guy from One Up MMA. He has another question. He said, would you like a rematch, or are you just done with the whole Greg Hardy thing? Because it's not your fault the fight went the way the fight went.
So I feel like this could be a payday for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I have no problem fighting. You know what I mean? But right now I'm on a contract. I got 2 more fights left on my contract, and both those fights are set for a certain pay. You know what I mean? If the people want that happen, and the Zupa wants to pay me to make that happen, then I'll 100%. I'll oblige. You know what I mean? You pay me the right amount of money, I'll tie one of my hands behind my back and I'll go in there and fight. You know what I mean? You pay me right, I'm gonna fight right. So
Absolutely.
it's one of those things. If the money's right, I'll do whatever. You know what I mean? I hold no hard feelings. I think he was just tired and he made a mistake. And he was looking for a way to finish that fight and get the hell out of there and go breathe. I'll run it back, no problem.
See, that's the thing. I made a post-fight video after that fight, and that's the thing I kind of, was touching on. Alan Crowder's been in the trenches. Greg Hardy has never been in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? He's never been deep into a 2 or 3 round fight. He's had these 1 round knockouts. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, the minute he steps in there with a seasoned guy who's been down, who's been hit, a guy who's, with more than one way to win a fight, you know what I'm saying? He's going to have a tough time. And we saw that. To a lot of people, it looks like Greg Hardy was trying to find a way out of the fight. But anyway, let me get to the next question.
Yeah.
Vince Puzon wants to know, how hard does Greg Hardy hit out the gate?
I mean, everybody hits hard. Heavyweight division in the UFC, everybody hits hard. You take a man over 230 pounds, when he socks you in the face, you're going to feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say he hits no harder than anybody else I've ever been hit by in the heavyweight division. He's definitely got power. He's faster than most guys I fought before. You know what I mean? Yeah. Dude's athletic. He's a former NFL football player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, he's definitely an athlete, 100%. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say he hits no harder than anybody else. I would say he's probably a little quicker. I'm sure he caught a lot of his previous fighters just off guard with his speed. But he's a good athlete for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So, all right, Mason McKibben wants to know, did his power, well, you kind of answered this one, does his power live up to the hype, and did he ever have you hurt?
I should have had my hands up a little bit more. Like, one thing my coaches were yelling at me, like, hey, get your hands up. You know what I mean? I had my hands a little bit low. He probably would not. I think he might have tagged me maybe once or twice. That were pretty good. But if my hands would have been up, and it would have been nothing. Going in probably after about 2 minutes into the first round, I would say it was, his gas was gone and there wasn't much, In the second round, I was running my mouth trying to get him to throw more because I knew I could move and they were coming so slow. I knew I'd be able to get out of the way, and I was trying to counter back. Yeah. I wanted that big knock. I wanted that $50,000 bonus. I was trying to get that knockout. and I was timing the punch just a little bit too off myself, and I wasn't stepping in. I was coming away and then trying to come back, and he had a long reach, so I just wasn't quite long enough. I should have stepped in a little more and threw that left hand, but you live and you learn. I didn't have a full camp leading up to this right here. I was getting over an injury myself, and it's just little mistakes, and I'll go back and fix them, and get them right for the next guy.
So what I noticed from the fight is you're pretty agile to be such a big guy. I mean, you're like the only heavyweight in UFC with a 6-pack. I mean, let's just be honest. And you were
I felt like I was a little chubby, to be honest with you. I'm actually working on. I just started back hitting the weights again. I started working out with my brother. My brother, he's a world's strongest man. He just won nationals a couple months, 2 or 3 months ago. I don't know where the hell it was at. It was somewhere, but he's got the Arnold Classic coming up here soon. He's actually getting me ready, so I'm working out with him twice a week now, hitting the weights hard again. I'm gonna try to get back to about 260, 265, and be solid. You know what I mean? So that's the goal. I felt like I was a little pudgy in the fight. You know what I mean? I had been eating eating pretty crappy. I got a guy doing my meal prep and stuff for me. His name is Michael, and he's been hooking me up with some great food. So I'm pretty happy with that. Eating a lot more, eating a lot healthier, staying away from the fast food, and I'm gonna turn this into a little more solid. For sure.
Well, there's a lot living in North Carolina, man. There's a lot of places that can tempt you to come and eat.
There's a lot of places, man. So my place that I opened up, we just had a cookout be built right across the road. So every time I walk outside, I got this food just smelling good. I'm like, oh no, you can't do it.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Yeah. So what I seen on your social media where you've started, meal prepping and what I'm saying, trying to live a little bit healthier of a lifestyle. And then you also said you're trying to get yourself ready for your first UFC knockout. Is that the plan for your next fight?
That's the plan, man. I got 2 more fights left on my contract. You know what I mean? And I plan to continue to fight after that, but I want to be negotiating my contract. So I get 2 more wins. I want to get paid when I show up. You know what I mean? Like, I want that money. You know what I mean? And right now, if I concentrate on my business, I can make more money on my business than what I'm making, what I'm getting paid right now. So my goal is I want to win these next 2 fights. I want to set my negotiation price. They have to pay me this much right here to come in, and then start making some money when I show up,
Word. Okay, that's what's up. All right.
A lot of people think, UFC fighters, you're getting paid, but you know what I mean? You get paid better than these lower promotions for sure. But you got to think about, Uncle Sam's taking 30% of your paycheck. You got to pay your manager 20%. You got coaching staff that's coming in and taking 10%. It's hard to work a full-time job, when you're training like this right here. So if you are working a full-time job, you do have that money coming in, but that's going to take away from your training. If you don't have a full-time job, you have no other income coming in but that money you get from fighting. And, it's hard. It's hard to live sometimes. But you got to do what you got to do, support your family. And so I want to finish out these 4 fights, and I want to make a paycheck,
I hear you, man. So, all right, last question is from Paul Martin. Did you know, and this question is, I'm the answer to this question, but he says, did you know Hardy was inexperienced and tried to make him make a rookie mistake?
Well, I'm not that good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good, but I'm not that good. You know what I mean? Like, I stayed down on my knee because I knew he couldn't throw that. You know what I mean? Like, there's rules to this thing.
Right.
And I knew he wouldn't be able to throw that knee. I was hoping he'd come in. I was hoping he would step out to the side and try to throw a punch. I was planning to duck underneath it and shoot in for another takedown because I knew once I got him on his ground. In the second round, I knew once I got him on his back, that fight was over. You know what I mean? I told one of the other interviews I'd done I was going to finish him with elbows on the ground in the second round, and that's what I fully planned on doing. But it didn't go that way. That knee caught me off guard, you know what I mean, and it surprised me. And I still, again, I don't think it was intentional. I think he was just, oh, I'm gonna get this fight over with, and you know what I mean, and just made a rookie mistake.
Yeah. Well, man, so what is Alan Crowder's message to the UFC heavyweight division?
Hey, I'm coming, man. I'm gonna be one of the top guys. You know what I mean? It's a guarantee. You know what I mean? I'm coming for that number 1 spot. And I'm gonna work my way up until I get it and go from there.
Absolutely. Well, hey, man, like I said, I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. Go ahead and give a shout out to your sponsors and your coaches, man. We'll wrap this thing up.
Hey, I got Jesse Ray's one of my coaches, Eric Jeffries, Spencer Knupp, Coach Massey down in Inner City. I got them guys I'm working with. Shout out to my Duke and NC State guys that are coming in and helping me in wrestling and stuff. Michael Macabelli and Jacob Casper. Haters Athletics, Michael with my meal prep. Appreciate you guys. And thank y'all.
Yeah. Well, before we end this, let me get the drop. Let me get this is Alan Pretty Boy Crowder, and you're live with No Filter MMA. Let me get that real quick.
This is Alan Pretty Boy Crowder. You're live with, you said MMA Unfiltered?
It's No Filter MMA.
No Filter MMA. All right. You said you can cut this out, right?
Yes.
Right. This is Alan Pretty Boy Crowder coming in live at No Filter MMA.